Welcome to Victory Woodworks with Vic. I'm Vic. As a companion episode to our last video, we're going to make a little catch-all tray for all the dog lovers out there. We ourselves happen to be a dog lover, and we find that this is actually kind of a useful thing to have around on the counters. You can drop whether it's your keys, rings, or otherwise. So please stick with us while we go through the design process on Carbide Create Pro. Then we cut it out on the CNC, and we'll do a little finish work, and we'll show you what the end product looks like. Let's select some lumber from the old lumber pile and see what we can make it out of. I'm thinking something light with a stripe of some sort, maybe down the middle. Let's see what we got. So the old wood pile there turned up a nice piece of oak, which is a little rough on this side. Needs a little cleanup work, and we have the Purple Heart. Doesn't look that good right now, but I think if we slice a thin stripe here and had two oak pieces on either side, we come up with something that looks pretty good. I'm thinking this maybe about an inch, and this again we need overall width. We need 7 inches by 12. So I think that this will do for our bone. As always, before we turn on any power tools, we go to the safety path, get on our safety glasses, and put on our hearing protection, just to make sure we're in good shape here. Safety first. Now we're going to cut our lumber to 12-inch lengths. We're back now. We cut up our scraps here. We've got two different pieces. We got the oak and the Purple Heart here. This one is roughly 12 by 8.5. So we'll trim a little bit, or we'll just center it a bit on the middle when we do the cuts on the CNC. This one, we got this little piece in here. It's 10.25 by 7. So yeah, so that's about, those are around 11. So what we'll do is we'll kind of center this way, and we'll cut the bone out of this. This should be interesting. A lot of different colors here. You can also use this for coasters and cutting boards and other items. Kind of these patterns. This one will be a little more plain, but this will be our first one on the CNC, and we'll see what happens here. So next step, glue up. We're at the glue up step here. So I've got the oak Purple Heart board here. I put on these little bands just to see if it's a little easier getting these in and out of the Rockler clamps. And I'm going to try the standard way, and we'll just see kind of what works out. Here's a second glue up. Okay, we finally got these in here, and now we're just going to put the squeeze on. So I think we're all good to go. Next, we wait for everything to dry up just a little bit, scrape off the excess as much as we can, and then we wait for tomorrow to put it into the planer. So here we are the next day, the glue ups. Let's see how we did. They look pretty good. We scraped up some of the glue yesterday to get some of that stuff off. But let's take them out of the clamps and take a look. see what we got. Here we've got the oak, the purple heart in the middle. I don't know, looks pretty good. We're going to send this through the planer, see what happens there. Here we've got the mixture. We're going to actually, before we cut it, we're going to plane everything down and see what that looks like. So stay tuned. We're going to set up the planer, the vac, and we'll take hopefully some really good video of us planing. Okay, as always, before we turn on the power equipment, let's put on our PPE, our safety equipment. So in this case, we're going to put on our safety glasses so we can see what we're doing without going blind. Then we're going to put on our ear protection. Well, it looks like our glue joint failed over here. Not really sure why. I don't feel much of anything here. We're going to try to glue this one back together and give it another shot. So for now, we'll just put it to the side. Now, I'm not sure what happened with the other glue joint. I'm not sure whether it was glue that was sitting in the garage, maybe a little too cold, and it's lost some of its efficacy. I think that's how you say it. Or whether it was user error. Very, very possible, could have been either. But this board, you know, I gave it the old hit test. Seems to be just fine. So, let's see, this looks nice. We're going to put this onto the CNC, and we're going to get this thing cutting. Here we're in Carbide Create Pro, and we're going to set up our job for the actual cutout of the dog bone tray. So let's head on over first to set up. Our stock for this, based on the lumber we prepped yesterday, is about 7 1/4 by 10. Model resolution, I think it'd just be standard, that's fine. I think that's for the drawing of the visualizations later. The thickness is 1 inch. Lower left is going to be our tool Path Zero. It's softwood shapeoko 4. Retract right is 0.25 of an inch. Let's hit OK on that. Okay, so let's draw out a little dog bone now. So I figure a rectangle and a couple circles will probably get us mostly there. We'll see though. So here's the one ear of it, and let's make this 1.5 radius, 1.5 inches. Let's copy 4 of those. Okay. And let's arrange them into kind of a dog bone-ish view. Grab this node, link them. Gonna grab this, move it down here, and do the same thing, link this. And then we need something here in the middle. So let's go with a square. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab this node right into the center of the circle. This will already be in the same center of that circle. And then grab these circles, grab it, drag it right there. Same thing with that one, grab the center. And you can see we've got the outline of a dog bone. To truly make it into a dog bone, we're going to have to use a Boolean join or a Boolean weld. The way we do that is we select everything. We come over here to this little Boolean section, click it, hit OK. There it is. Since it's still selected, what we'll need to do here is center it on the stock. So let's align the centers onto the stock, and there we go. And finally, since I always forget to do this right up front, I'm going to do the tabs. So we just clicked on the tab button there. Let's put one here in the middle. That should be easy to cut out. Easy to cut out, and so we don't lose anything, we'll put one at each ear. About there. And about there. So that should be ample for all of our tabs. What what we're going to do to make this make it a little fancier, or at least spruce up the bone a little bit, is we're going to put a little offset on this to the inside and to the outside to allow for a round over bit. Actually, we also need to have a little edge here. So let's go to the inside, 0.25, give us just a little piece. And then what we're going to do is off of this and on that one, we're going to offset 0.02 to allow for our 1/8 inch round over. The way we do that is we just select the path or the edge. Distance is 0.02. And we're going to go to the inside of that. You can see it right there. I'm going to zoom in. And we'll do the same thing here. So we're going to offset it to the outside. Here it is to the outside, same 0.02. Apply. That gives us a path where we can run the round over bit. That's about it for our design section of the actual shapes that we're going to need to do these cutouts. So why don't we head on over to tool paths. Okay, first things first, we're going to have to dish out the center. Okay. All right, first we're going to have to dish out the center. So let's get in close. We want the inner line, not our offset line. We're going to select that. And what we're going to do is we're going to pocket it using the current selection. We're going to use our Amana bowl bit. Where's it? The Amana 45981 1/2 inch bowl bit. We're going to select that. This is pretty aggressive. We're going to slow down the feed rate to about 50. So I think that might be a little fast for that bit. Step over, depth per pass is 1/4. Let's make that a little bit less. Do an 1/8 each pass. I think you could probably do 1/4, but I really don't want to strain the machine all that much. Let's hit OK. We're going to go down. This is 1 inch. We can go down 0.4. That's not bad. Leaves us quite a bit on the bottom. And we're going to call this tool path pocket with bowl bit. And we're going to call this rough. Because we're going to come back and do a second pass. Alright, that's going to be 9 minutes. We're going to duplicate that to create a second pass. So we're going to call this finish pass. Hit OK on that. And we're going to change this step over to be, actually, step over to be a whole lot smaller. 0.05. And depth per pass to also be 0.05. We're going to slow this down. Actually, we can keep it the same speed, but since it's such a small depth and step over, it'll do a finer cut. Hit OK, and we're going to change start depth here to 4, 0.4, and 0.5. Hit OK. Okay, that's going to take a little bit longer. And let's rename the group here to bowl bit. I think it's good to set up your groups with each successive bit that you're going to be using for this for the project. So in this case, we're going to be using 3. So it's the bowl bit's going to be first. We're going to create a new tool path, and we're going to rename that to round over bit. I'm going to do both round overs. What's nice about this is I can just hide or disable all of these, and it just kind of works. So here we're going to zoom in, get the inside round over first. Basically, we're going to do a contour path. Okay, we're going to change the bit to the round over. and that's the Amana 56125 1/8 inch round over. We're going to select it, and we're going to slow it down. And we're going to no offset. It's going to start at 0 and it's going to go down 1/8 because that's all the cutting depth. We're going to ignore these tabs because we're not using those right now, and we'll call this round over inside. We hit OK on that. Then let's select the outside. Do the same thing. We're going to contour it. Select the selection. Same bit. It's going to start at the top. It's going to go down 125. It's going to be no offset. Ignore the tabs. And it's going to be round over outside. Now what's interesting here is it's actually going to cut into the outside because we haven't cut it out yet. So we'll hit OK on that. And let's disable this, but let's enable the first one because we've got to take a look at what it's going to look like. So what's the inside going to look like? Let's put that on beach. Looks about right. Okay, let's hide that. And let's do the round overs. Now, these don't get simulated properly. You can see there's 2 of them done, but they do it as if they're an, I don't know, 1/8 wide channel when it's really a round over. Maybe at some point Carbide Create Pro will figure out how to do that better, and it'll, you know, simulate better. All right, let's hide the simulation. Now we got to do the cutout. So let's create another group. And we're going to call this cutout. And we'll go 025 to let us know it's going to be the 1/4 inch cutout bit. And hit OK. And we're going to select the vector that we want to cut out. We're going to do a contour. We're going to change the bit to the Amana 1/4 inch cutout bit, which in this case, I was debating whether to do the 46200, which is the 1/8 inch spiral, or the 46202 1/4 inch spiral. Both down cut bits. I'm going to go with the 1/4 inch spiral. Let's select that. 1/8 step over, 1/10 depth per pass. Yeah, this looks about right. Maybe the plunge rate should be a little bit slower. Give a slightly better finish. The start depth is going to be 0. We're going to use stock top, stock bottom. It's going to be the 1 inch. We're not going to ignore tabs this time. We're going to go 0.1 on the tabs. And we're going to call this cutout 1/4 inch. Let's hit OK. That'll take 6 minutes. Let's see what it looks like. All right, let's put everybody in the pool and see what they all look like. All right. Take the rapids out. Take the tool paths off. I just want to make sure that we're cutting on the outside because this looks like we're cutting on the inside. So let's, a mistake. So let's make this, cut it on the outside. See, should have picked that up before. Let's do simulation again. And let's see if this looks better, because it looks like we cut into our little ridge here that keeps all the stuff inside the tray. All right, you can see it's trying to do the, yeah, a little bit. You can see that a little bit of the round over, but it's kind of down there as opposed to up here. So let's see. Okay, Got our 6 tabs cut out cleanly. All looks pretty good. Okay, let's save the tool paths and let's get cutting. Here we have our lumber blank ready to go. What I've done is I've put some tape on the back. So we're going to try the CA glue and accelerator process onto the spoil board and see if that'll hold it down. I also have some other hold downs. So why don't we do this and I'll bring you on over. Oh, by the way, we've got some extra cameras here today. So hopefully you'll enjoy the multi-view of the CNC cutting process. The first bit we're going to be using is the bowl bit. That is the Amana 45981. Our next big change is going to be the Amana tool 56125, which is 1/8 round over bit. Okay, our next bit is going to be the Amana 46202K. Looks like the cut is done. Let's see if we can get a little zoom in on how we did here. Ooh, look at that. All right, let's bring it forward and see what we're doing here. Well, it looks pretty good. I mean, what was really nice is the round over came out very nice. I wasn't expecting that. Well, let's vacuum a little bit because, as you can see, the vacuum did absolutely nothing on this particular cut. Let's vacuum up, release the blank, and let's see what we got. Okay, here we have the front. Here we have the back. Got a little bit to cut out. I'm going to bring it on over to the bandsaw over there. I'm going to cut this thing out. Then what we're going to do is take a little round over on the bottom just to soften up those edges. A little more sanding, and I think we should be in good shape. Okay, so overall, I'm fairly pleased with the cutout. This side, because we planed it the other day, not bad. Needs a little bit of sanding. Edges here a little bit. Seems like I dinged it a little bit on the bandsaw. And then internal needs to do just a tiny bit of sanding in here too. And I'm looking at this little I don't know what you call it, where the two parts of the bone meet. There's a little bit in here that needs to be touched up. Other than that, we're gonna figure out what kind of finish we want on this, and then we're done. Got ourselves one dog bone, one dog bone catch-all tray to kind of compete with the cat-all tray that we did last time. Okay, now it's sanding time. So for these circular sections and interior, I'm going to go with this little, looks like about a 2-inch sanding wheel with 180 and 240. Hopefully that'll do it. Any edges, we're going to go with these sanding sponges. These are at 220. And then for the back, we're going to use 180 and 220 sanding meshes, I guess they're called. So let's get the sanding and then see what happens. Okay, after much glorious sanding, our piece is sanded nice and smooth. I got it down to 220 or 240 depending on which sandpaper I was using, which I think is sufficient. We wetted it down and then I sanded it again with 240 afterwards, or 220 depending on which one. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna stain it. Little Varathane gunstock. We think it's a nice color. Oak tends to either come out yellowy or very light, so I thought that this might do us some justice here on the color. So let's get some of this on here. We're only going to put on like one coat, so I don't want it too dark. Stain is dried, giving it about an hour or two, actually just over 2 hours. Looks pretty good, not as dark. Still see the stripe, which is good. I was a little worried about that. So what we're going to do to finish this off, put a little coating on it. It's going to be polyurethane. We've got the Varathane clear gloss, and we've got the clear satin. We're going to shoot it with the clear gloss first, which is exactly what this one is, and then we're going to finish it with the clear satin. Here goes coat number 2. All right, here we go for the inner coat. Well, here it is, the completed dog bone catch-all tray to go along with the cat catch-all tray we did last time. We made some final design changes here at the end and not put on the satin at this point because it looks pretty good just the way it is. So that's up to you. Satin, gloss, semi-gloss, you know, it really depends on what sort of finish you'd like. So here it is, the dog bone catch-all tray. You know, if you like what you saw, if you learned something, please like, subscribe, tell all your friends. Hell, if you didn't like what we did here, subscribe anyway. It might get better. You never know. See you in the next video.